No, we can, boys and girls. Have you tried holding your breath and not taking air? How long can you hold your breath? And how does it make you feel? Did you know that you can live without food for a few weeks, without water for a few days, but without air you can only live usually about 6 minutes? That's because every cell in our body needs oxygen. Oxygen is a gas which is part of the air we breathe. We have lungs that work together with the heart. To do this, our lungs are some of the biggest organs in our bodies. We have two lungs, but they are not the same size. The left lung is smaller than the right. Does anyone know why? Because it leaves room for the heart. The main job of our lungs is to transport oxygen from the air you breathe into your bloodstream while taking away the gas, carbon dioxide, which is released into the air when you breathe out. When you breathe in, the air filled with oxygen goes down to your trachea, then into your lungs without bronchioles, and finally into your tiny air sacs called alveoli. You have 6 million alveoli. The alveoli are air sacs surrounded by networks of arteries, and those arteries are red blood cells that you pick up the oxygen through the walls of the air sacs and take it to the heart, which then pumps the oxygenated blood to the whole body. Once the cells use oxygen, they make carbon dioxide, which is waste gas. There is red blood cells pick up this CO2 on their way back to the lungs. Once they get to the alveoli or air sacs, the CO2 gets off, new oxygen gets in, and the cycle continues. Exactly. To keep working system smoothly, we need to know a few things. Below the lungs is called a diaphragm and flattens out when you breathe and giving your lungs more space to expand. The muscles around your ribs also lift to your lungs to fill up the exhale, and diaphragm relaxes to move up, pushing air out. First, you gotta breathe in deeply. Let's practice do this now. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now let's check your posture. Do you think you can do a lot? We get a lot of air when you're slouched over or when you're sitting or when you sit straight. When we sleep, should we cover our heads with a blanket? Why? Now let's do a little experiment. Stand up. We're going to jog in place. Okay. Are you breathing faster and deeper now before you started jogging? Open your windows whenever it's possible to let fresh air in. The freshest air is found where there are a lot of trees in the water and after a rainstorm. So be sure to spend as much time out in the nature as possible. And keep plants in your homes too, because plants use CO2 to make their energy and then return oxygen for us to breathe. Purpose in your hearts is never to smoke or use tobacco in any form. They are deadly poisons in tobacco, like nicotine. Carbon monoxide will destroy alveoli. This is what smoking does to your alveoli. Air sacs. Smoking does this. Once they're popped, they can never be filled in with air again, no?
I'm always cheery because sunlight helps our brains make the right amount of melatonin and serotonin. These are chemicals that help us to sleep well and feel good. When we don't get enough sunlight, the brain does not make the right level of these chemicals. Then we feel sad and depressed. This happens often during the winter months when people may not get as much sunlight. Your body makes vitamin D when your skin is exposed to the sun. Vitamin D is the sunshine vitamin that helps your body absorb calcium for healthy bones and teeth. Without vitamin D, your bones would be brittle, soft, and misshapen. This disease or condition is called rickets. Vitamin D also helps to protect us from other diseases like heart attacks and some cancers. Sunlight also kills germs and improves your immune system. The immune system or immunity is the way that your body fights any germ that comes in, so it helps to keep you healthy. Yes, we just need the right amount of sun. You don't want to lay out in the sunlight to try to get a suntan as a lot of people do. Too much sun will burn your skin and increases your risk of skin cancer. The best time to get sunlight is before 10 in the morning and after 4 in the afternoon when the sun is not as strong.
Oh, shalom, boys and girls. Boy, do I have a good story to tell you. You see, my name is Elijah, and I'm a prophet of the one true God. However, my people turned away from the one true God and started to worship idols. When I delivered the message that there was not going to be any rain for a long time because of their idolatry, the king and the queen were furious. I ran away and hid out in nature by the brook Cherith. For the longest time, I lived, exercised, and slept out in the fresh air and sunshine. God fed me a plant-based diet by the ravens who brought me food. I sure learned to trust God more. Then one day I challenged and faced all 400 false prophets of Baal. We were in that standoff all day long. God showed his power by consuming my sacrifice to him. But, well, the prophets of Baal could not succeed at all, even though they did all sorts of weird things. After that long day, I prayed earnestly to my God to send rain. Soon I saw a little rain cloud, and I knew that God had answered my prayer. So I ran to King Ahab. You better get your chariot ready and hurry to Jezreel, or you'll get stuck in this mud and storm. So the king started on his chariot, and the power of God came upon me. I gathered up my long robe and ran 16 whole miles like lightning. It was dark, and the blinding rain was coming down so hard that without me leading the way in front of the king's chariot, he very well might not have made it to Jezreel. Now that was an amazing night, but I'm getting tired just thinking about it. So I'm going to go rest a while now. Thank you kids for listening to my story. Shalom. God be with you.